Good morning, everybody. If we could start with item number 1 on the agenda, the appointment of the proposer.
I propose David Snowden.
Thank you.
I'm happy to second Councillor David Snowden.
Thank you, Councillor Snowden.
All those in favour?
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this licensing subcommittee meeting on Friday the 8th of July 2022, commencing at 10 a.m. I am Councillor David Snowden, chairing today's meeting. I am a councillor for Bishop Stortford Meads Ward. Sitting alongside me today,
Councillor Norma Simons, Bishop Stortford Central Ward.
Councillor Carolyn Redfern, Hertford Seal Ward.
all the decisions of this committee today will be made by myself, Councillor Simons, Councillor Redfern. You will see today, we will be sat here. We do have some officers beside us who we will be introducing in a moment. After we have heard from the applicants and the interested parties, we will then retire to consider our views. We will be accompanied by the legal officer and democratic services officer. They will retire with us, but the decision will be that of the members and the members alone. So alongside me on the top table are
Michelle Oves, Democratic Services Officer.
Dimple Rootchand, Legal Advisor to the members.
Brad Wheeler, Senior Licensing and Enforcement Officer.
Thank you. One thing for all those attending today and speaking, could you please make sure to use the microphones? We are streaming this on YouTube, so that means if you do not speak into the microphones as closely as you can manage and have it switched on, nobody will be able to hear you on the stream. So please make sure you do that. It'll have a red light when you are able to speak. So I will now move on to agenda item 2, apologies for absence. There are no apologies for absence today. All 3 of the members who are sitting were originally listed to sit at this committee and as such have read the papers and seen the papers in good time and been able to consider them ahead of the meeting. I've covered Chairman's announcements points 3 in the introduction and the apologies. Declarations of interest, agenda item 4. Does any member have a declaration of interest to make?
No, thank you, Chairman.
No, I don't have. Thank you.
I have none either, if that can be so noted, please. Right, the minutes of the meetings on the 5th and the 9th of May. I'll require a proposer and a seconder for each one of those minutes. We'll take them in turn.
I'm happy to propose the minutes of the 5th of May 2022.
Seconded.
Yeah, all those in favour? Yeah.
I'm also happy to the minutes of the 9th of May 2022.
Seconded.
All those in favour? Thank you. The minutes are duly approved. Agenda item 6, summary of procedure, pages 34 to 40. There's summary of the procedure during consideration of item 7, if that can just be noted, members. Yep. Yep, thank you. Right, we move on to the substantive business. Item 7, application for the variation to a premises licence for White Horse Hotel, Hartingfordbury Road, Hartingfordbury, Hertfordshire. This is available on pages 41 to 90 of the bundle. I believe we have an introduction from the licensing officer to this item.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. Contained in the papers in front of you is the full report outlining an application for a variation of a premise licence under Licensing Act 2003, section 34. This can be found between pages 41 to 56 of the agenda reports pack. As you've already seen the report and the accompanying documents, I shall provide a brief summary of the application and the representations received. On the 18th of May 2022, an application to vary a premise licence was received from the applicant White Horse Hearts Limited in regard to a premises known as the White Horse Hotel, situated on Hartingfordbury Road, Hartingfordbury. The proposed application has been made to allow the supply of alcohol on the premises during March through to October from an outside bar located within the patio area of the premises during the following times. So this is for the supply of alcohol on the premises, Monday to Sunday from 12 midday through to 22:30. The application can be found in Appendix A on pages 57 to 68. Regarding the steps to promote the licensing objectives, the applicant has stated the following steps. These are that the applicant has proposed that they'll render all tables and chairs unusable at 2300 hours each day. They'll use CCTV monitoring in the proposed patio area. That the premises shall operate a 30-minute drinking up time from once the supply of alcohol is finished. Notices shall be promptly displayed at all exits, requesting patrons to respect the needs of local residents and to leave the area quietly through the main building. Customers will be monitored to ensure that no glass or bottles are to be taken from the premises. There shall be no supply of alcohol for consumption in the external area after 2300 hours. The premises will also operate the Challenge 21 scheme, and notices will be displayed in prominent positions. During the 28-day consultation period, the applicant agreed modifications to the current premises licence in consultation with Hertfordshire Constabulary. These modifications are in Appendix B on pages 69. During the 28-day consultation period, 7 representations were received from interested parties, 5 raising objections and 2 giving support on the application. The representations can be found in Appendix C from pages 81 to 87 of the agenda pack. The representations from the local councillors engaged in prevention of public nuisance and the prevention of crime and disorder licensing objectives. This is due to concerns from noise, from music and people using the premises, along with anticipated antisocial behaviour within the patio area. There was also 2 representations from neighbours raising objection, again for the prevention of public nuisance licensing objectives with concerns over noise. There were also 2 representations supporting the application which state that they feel the new bar is a great addition and in keeping with the premises and supports local business. There's been no representations from any responsible authority. The report looks at the statement, Eastart's statement of licensing policy, the revised guidance under section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, and provides information submitted by the applicant and the interested parties making a representation. And the subcommittee should determine the application with a view of promoting the 4 licensing objectives. In determining the application, the subcommittee should consider whether they believe the applicant has provided evidence that the licence, if granted, would promote and not undermine the licensing objectives. This evidence should be balanced against those that have made representation in which they believe the licensing objective will be undermined. If members believe the application would not undermine the licensing objective, then the licence should be granted as requested. If members believe that there is evidence that in granting the licence would not promote the licensing objectives, then it was within your remit to take any action that you believe will address these concerns. Members can attach additional conditions or take steps such as limited hours for licensable activities, or if there's no steps that you believe can be taken, you may refuse the application in its entirety, but this should be a last result. The The subcommittee's determination should be evidence-based, justified for the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives and proportionate for what you intend to achieve. That completes my report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'll go to members in a moment for any questions, but can I just ask one myself? On page 61, you said the supply of alcohol was to 22:30. On our papers, it says 10:30 in a 12-hour clock instead of a 24-hour clock. Could you just confirm that it is actually 22:30 being requested, please?
I can confirm it is 22:30 that's being requested. The case officer has liaised with the applicant and confirmed this.
Could the applicant confirm that that is his understanding?
Yes, that's correct, 20.
Thank you. Members have any questions for the licensing officer?
No, thank you.
Yeah. Does the
I'm sorry, I have been reading something here and I just wonder whether I don't know whether this is the right time to bring it up.
It depends, Councillor Edford. Why don't you ask and we can always
Yes, okay.
take it later.
There
if
is a
appropriate.
submission here on page 72. I advise that the garden area is not currently licensed for licensing activity. So licensing activity, is that for people drinking alcohol or for selling alcohol? Sorry.
It's the supply of alcohol, which is the licensable activity. The consumption of alcohol is not a licensable activity.
They cannot use the deregulation for regulated entertainment. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sure.
No, a fine question, Councillor Edford. Did you have any other questions?
No, thanks.
No. I'll go to the applicant. Do you have any questions, and could you also please just introduce yourself?
My name is Alistair Bramley, and I am the proprietor of the White Horse in Hartlebury.
Do you have any questions for the licensing officer? We have no responsible parties here today. Would the interested parties please introduce themselves and also state if they have any questions for the licensing officer?
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Jan Goodeve and I'm one of the Castle Ward members. One question at the moment, which is the application appears to be just for the red hatched area on the patio on the map on page 68.
Yeah.
So assuming that kiosk is licensed,
Yeah.
should it not get planning permission? If they're able to just use a table there, would they be able to sell alcohol from, say, a table instead?
Okay, so I would like to refer you to the officer observations of the report. When it comes to planning and licensing, even though they're very similar, they're two separate regimes. So the applicant should that area require planning permission would obviously need to make an application to the planning department. So the members can hear today the licensing application, but the planning would be something separate.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. I understand that. My question relates to, were they not to get planning permission, are they still able to sell alcohol from that space because the space would be licensable?
Yes,
So
sorry.
the answer is yes.
The answer is
Yeah.
yes. Sorry, my
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Rutland Barsby. I'm also a ward councillor for the area concerned. I don't think I have a question at the moment, but I would like to make a statement when it's appropriate.
Certainly, we'll come to you after the applicant has had a chance to speak, Councillor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now go on to the applicant's presentation. I'm going to suggest that we limit submissions from both sides to maybe 10 minutes. please remember that we have read the full pack. We have discussed, we have read it. We will discuss matters after we leave here. So please there's no need to read out everything in your submission. Please talk to it and any elucidation and illumination upon the points raised.
Yes, I mean, I'm not going to go into full detail, but I mean, basically, we've been operating the White Horse for 5 years. There's been a big demand for people to buy drinks outside. We've noticed that in our other venues. People have got reservations without coming indoors to crowded bars, standing at the bar waiting for drinks. So a lot of our customers were saying, you know, you've got the space, why don't you put an outside bar? So we did. We took advice from a supplier. Yes, the planning application we overlooked. We didn't realise in our other venues we haven't had to do that, but obviously with the White Horse, the Hartingford region, the conservation area, so we will have to apply for planning for that unit. As far as the bar goes, we've installed the bar. We were under the assumption that the patio had been licensed, but you know it wasn't. So that's why we're applying for a retrospective planning application for the license for that. And it's basically there just to add an addition to the venue to supply drinks. There's only a couple of beers on tap, and there's a very short array of spirits and mixers, and that's just to take the pressure off the main bar. We do find the main bar gets extremely busy, and it's packed out. People then have to walk all the way around the front of the building back to the patio. So we quite often have a full patio all the way up till 10:30 most weekend evenings. I can't see how this bar is going to make any difference to that. There's still customers sitting outside, still drinking. The only difference is instead of walking all the way around the front of the building into the main bar to buy drinks, they will buy it off the smaller bar on the patio. It won't supply all the drinks that we offer, but it will take the pressure off certain aspects of the sales. And yeah, we're just looking to add a little bit to the venue and give our customers a little bit more choice of where they go and choose to buy their drinks. There is still a huge amount of hesitation from customers who don't want to come inside venues because of COVID. This gives them the opportunity to come out, sit in the patio, buy a drink from the patio and not have to go inside at all.
Thank you. Do members have any questions?
Not at the moment, Chairman.
So I just have one brief question. Can you just talk to the actual bar you're planning? You said it's got a couple of beers. Well, assuming it's a couple of beers on draft, and are you having fridges with other beers and bottled beers inside? Is this optics? Just tell me exactly.
Yeah, so there's 2 taps. One's got a lager on it, one's got a craft beer on it. They tend to be our top sellers. That's the most popular drinks. We have a fridge, which will mainly be for soft drinks and mixers. We don't sell a lot of bottled beers. I think we've got 1 bottled beer, so there's not any other beers going on there. And then the other sales is wine, so white wine, prosecco, red rosé, and then mainline spirits, so gins and vodkas with mixers. It's not a big unit. It's very small. You can't get a lot in there. So yeah, it will be a very condensed product range in there.
And there's obviously been some complaints about noise and other issues that could arise from the bar. How would you address those issues? Do you believe you can operate this bar without causing further noise or issues for local residents?
Yes, I mean, we still have customers on the patio. Just because they're buying a drink at a bar doesn't mean they're going to suddenly become boisterous, loud, aggressive, you know, cause a nuisance just because they're buying. I don't understand the logic between buying a drink on a patio and buying a drink inside premises. That will completely change a customer's behavior. It doesn't. It's just convenience. And in fact, if the customer's finding it an easier process, then they're less likely to get, you know, uptight about buying drinks. But there's no correlation to buying a drink on a patio to buying a drink inside the premises as far as customer noise. I mean, they won't be allowed to stand around. They won't stand around the bar. There's no bar. There's no seating. There's nothing for them to sort of hang around the bar as such. We have a lot of tables and chairs on our patio, and that's where I see that customers will buy drinks and then return back to their tables. We are a table service venue as well. We're not. We are a food-led business. Predominantly, our sales are food. People come to us to eat. We're a food destination site. We're not a sports bar. We're not a drinks destination site. So the fact that our customer base, who are, a nice bunch of people, they're not a load of thugs who come out and get drunk on our patio. Yes, we've had a couple of noise complaints. We've had Christmas parties in marquees. We did what we could in that process. We tried to reduce the noise level. We eventually had to move everything indoors. And we do work well with the local authorities, and we do respond to any complaints we do have. Obviously, sometimes when you've got a house opposite a pub, you're going to experience some type of noise. But we try and keep that to a minimum, and we're always open to dialogue with all the local authorities. But yes, I can't see the difference between buying a drink inside or on a patio. It's not going to make any difference to the current status of how we operate our business.
One final question from me. With this bar area, will there be any extra provision for rubbish or anything? Because obviously if you're, say, putting bottles in a bottle bin or whatever at the bar, that obviously can cause more noise. Is it just the bar, or is there any rubbish provision there as well?
Well, no, I mean, it's no different to a customer buying a bottle in the bar and coming through and then drinking it onto the table. We clear everything by tray, move it inside and dispose of indoors. There will be a bin in the bar itself, but mostly when you sell a bottle of beer, the top's taken off and given to the customer, who then goes and sits down. But once our customer's finished their drink on their table, then it's cleared off the table and taken inside.
Yeah, that was a question. So when bottles are cleared, they will be cleared into the premises.
We won't have big bins of empty bottles on our patio. Again, It attracts wasps. It's not pleasant. We won't be having that.
No, excellent. Thank you. Do the interested parties have any questions at this stage? Bearing in mind, you will in a moment have the chance to speak yourselves. It's only questions that are directly pertinent to what the applicant has said.
Thank you very much. And I'm concerned where the outside bar is going to be located. It's right at the back, which means it's nearer the houses. And we've had several representations from young families whose children's sleep has been disturbed because of the noise. What can you do to actually mitigate that?
I mean, firstly, the people who've got the issues with their children live at the front of the property, straight opposite the pub. So wherever we located the bar, we've done that purposely to get it as far away as possible. But I can't see any extra noise coming from this bar than we have on our patio currently. Because you're selling a customer a drink over the bar, it doesn't generate more noise selling a drink on a patio than we currently have, 80 covers on our patio. Just because we've got a bar. In fact, the bar has taken away more space for customers to sit. So in fact, there's less customers on the patio than there was before, because the bar's now taking that corner area over. But the bar won't generate more noise because it's selling alcohol on the patio.
Will you be serving food out on the patio as well?
We don't have we don't make food on the patio. We service food to the patio already. So for 5 years, we've had a full restaurant offer on the patio with table service. So that already exists.
Okay, I'll go to the interested parties, unless you had anything further. No, I'll go to the interested parties. You have 10 minutes between you. It's up to you how you divide it. You also don't have to use the full 10 minutes. I'll let you decide who's going to speak first. Councillors.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to make a couple of points, really. The surrounding houses are predominantly Grade 2 listed in a conservation area. The owners therefore cannot install double glazing. The pub is a great asset to the village. I've visited it numerous times myself, love it. But it is imperative that the pub is a good neighbour.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, we've heard about the families and the noise, it's been covered. I'm a little bit concerned about, I know the planning issue isn't for this room, but if planning permission is not granted, there is a possibility of serving from a table, and then that could cause a problem under the objectives because it's not secure. I just wonder if the committee could possibly consider putting a condition on the license that if it's granted, it is only for the actual building. If it gets planning permission, please. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Do members have any questions for the interested parties?
No, thank you.
Yeah. Does the applicant have any questions for the interested parties?
No, just to say that I'm sure they will be objecting to the planning application we'll have to put in for the bar itself. But if we don't get planning, we won't be selling drinks over a table. That's not our style. So it would be pointless. It's just not what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Both the interested parties and the applicants are entitled to sum up. I know this has been fairly short, so I don't know whether you wish to sum up interested parties or you're happy just to continue.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chairman, but I think we've covered everything that we need to. Do you
Yeah.
agree? Yep.
And the applicant?
Yes, or happy to continue. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So if there are no further questions or further issues from members, I suggest we retire to consider our decision. Members? Yep. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. Members have retired to consider their decision. They have reached a decision, and that decision was unanimous. In consideration of this application for the variation of the premises licence for the White Horse Hotel, Hartingfordley Road, Hertfordshire, this licensing subcommittee has heard representations from the applicant and the interested parties who attended the hearing and has reviewed the application and the written representation submitted. The committee has determined to grant the application for the supply of alcohol for consumption on the premises during March to October from an outside bar located in the patio area to the rear of the premises Monday to Sunday, 12 noon to 22:30. The members have also agreed to grant the licence subject to the conditions proposed by the applicant and those agreed between the applicant and Hertfordshire Constabulary as noted at Appendix B. In granting this application, members were mindful of the concerns raised by the interested parties and are assured the applicant has and will continue to take steps to negate these concerns. A signed decision notice will be sent to the parties within 5 working days. Parties will have the right of appeal against this decision. Details of how to appeal will be noted within the decision notice. Thank you. So that concludes item 7 of the agenda. Agenda item 8 is urgent business. Members, I do not believe we have any urgent business. No. Officers? No. So that concludes this licensing subcommittee at 10:52, and I hereby close this meeting. Thank you.